Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Real Housewives of Potomac review. Let me start off by saying happy Veterans Day to all of the vets out there. We honor you and we thank you for your sacrifice. Now, with that said, let's get into it. So, my thoughts on this episode overall was the episode was okay. I feel like Mia thought, for whatever reason, that she would utilize this trip to show off herself, and it didn't work. It kind of fell flat. She wanted us to meet her friends, see her business that she sold, and it just didn't really flow or give what I think she thought it would give. So the episode picks up with them sitting in the living room. Karen is talking to Stacy while Jazzy and Kierna are there. And Stacy is concerned and she's just asking Karen, like, look, Karen, do you need rehab? Because based on what I've been told by Mia, you may require rehab. And Karen says, no. Thank you for asking, but no, I am an advocate. If people get sick, let's get help, and I don't need help. She's like, but, since Mia wants to talk about me, maybe Mia should kind of, talk about herself and how she went to rehab for an opioid addiction. And that's why she started the practice. First of all, it makes absolutely no sense to bring that up. Second of all, it makes no sense because one thing has nothing to do with the other, because this isn't like it's a sober living home or something like that. This is a chiropractic place. This is a place that helps with your alignment and stuff like that. So what is Karen talking about? This right here, calm down, is an example of Karen and her deflection. Stacy's in her confessional and she's like, I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe that Karen is saying this. Yeah, Mia may be a lot of things, but I kind of feel like with that, Karen is going a little low. It is a little low. Yeah, it's low. It's low. I don't care for Mia, so sometimes I gotta come on, girl, you gotta be honest. It's a little low, but this is what they do. Somebody goes low and the other person goes lower. Everybody is not Michelle Obama. We're not all gonna take the high road, and in this instance, that's not what happens. She's like, at this point, Karen is just saying anything. Karen continues by saying, we're talking about a woman who is sleeping with her boyfriend while her husband is in the house. And I said, well, Karen says, you mess with me, understand that payback is a mofo. Wendy is getting ready and she's like, look, I don't have time for any of this stuff that's going on right now with my friends. Right now, I'm just trying to keep my good energy and I'm trying to enjoy my birthday. We see Ashley on the phone talking to her kids. We get flashes as she talks about how she's, been adjusting, being a single mom and all this other stuff, and how the boys, are changing, while they show a clip of her oldest son, I think it was her oldest son, on top of the vehicle. It's too much. I don't like when children are wild like that and they don't listen. At no point should your kid feel like it's okay to climb on the top, not even the hood, but the ceiling of the vehicle. The ladies are now outside and they're enjoying the pool. Jazzy comes out and she goes to get in the pool. And I think that she thought that it was shallower because I don't think she intended on really getting wet because she didn't stay in there long. It looks like she tried to play it off, but she gets in the pool and she completely disappears. I think that it just caught her off guard. Stacy then is talking about TJ and missing TJ and how, she misses him when she doesn't talk to him. And Kara's like, yeah, y'all were on FaceTime all night. She's like, yeah, it's just, it's different. We pray together. We talk about future plans together. I'm also thinking about introducing Arabella to him. And it makes no sense to me that Stacey would be talking about or thinking about introducing her daughter to him at this point when her child does not even know that her parents are separated, that they are getting a divorce. Like, one thing at a time. And to me, TJ should be the last thing that you're considering, because there's so many other things that need to be done as in terms of her child before TJ would ever even be introduced if I were in her situation. Karen's like, okay, so at this point, what's the timeline on the divorce? And Stacey says, I don't know, that we still haven't even really set things up when it's come to, our child or the other things that we got to handle. And Karen's like, well, Ashley knows all about that. I don't understand how Ashley would know about all about that when Ashley herself is not divorced. Karen, if you're going to throw shade, if you're going to throw daggers, make sure it makes sense, because it's falling a little flat here. You're losing your touch. Ashley says she doesn't know anything. At this point, she's waiting for her stuff to start, but it has to begin with her mediation date. She's like, it's like June. It's June 11th, I think she said, is where her mediation date is. They have not sat down together in over a year. She said that the mediation date was in June, and then after that, it should take about 3 months to get divorced. Based on that timeline, I don't think it's even happened. I wonder if she's even sat down to have a talk with them, because I don't think they're divorced, because if they were at this time, I think we would hear about it. Stacey asks if, she introduces her kids to the guys that she's dating. And Ashley says, absolutely not. I respect it. I really, really respect it. She's like, Michael and I had an agreement very early on that when it comes to the boys and significant others, that we will be introduced to them before they meet the kids. I respect that, especially because her children are young, and you want to make sure that your kids are going to be in a safe space. You want to make sure that the interaction is cordial as well for the sake of your kids. So I like that Ashley and Michael have said that. I may not agree with a lot of things that Ashley says and does, but that I do agree with. The subject then of Kierna and her man come up, and she lets Karen know that despite Karen wanting her to take more of an old school approach, for her, she's just enjoying the way things are going now. She likes that they're living together because it gives her man an opportunity to see how she is with his kids. As I said before, to each his own, but it's clear to me that Kierna is either in denial or she doesn't want to tell us everything, because I think she wants a ring. She's acting like it's not a big deal and she's not thirsty for one, but you're making all of these moves like buying and building a house together. That makes me feel like that would be like the step that you want to take, especially because she does want to be married. It's not, there are people out there who have no desire to get married. And I would understand that more if she said she had no desire, but she desires to be married. After all, she was engaged before. This is when Stacey lets us know, because they're talking about different things and they want to know, like, what the relationships are like with people who have kids. And she lets us know that her husband knows about TJ, but he doesn't know how she or TJ feel about one another. They ask, what does, he think about TJ? And she's like, they think that he's a friend. Jazzy then talks about, how it's tricky to navigate things when you're dealing with kids and the relationship. And we're told that her man has 2 children. But the timeline on the kids don't make sense, because Jazzy's just not coming out and being open and honest by saying that there's overlap or that he cheated on her. Instead, she 1 minute, because we get flashbacks, says that the kids were here before her. Then she says that the kid was before he and her were intimate. Then she says that the kids were baking. But what it is all these different things happen while she was with this man, because he already had a child on the way when she met him. And apparently while they were dating, he also got the same woman pregnant again. If I were that woman, I'd be insulted that that's how you're explaining the dynamic. Sounds to me like that was his girlfriend. Maybe it wasn't, but you got her pregnant not once, but twice. Why aren't you with her? I'm just wondering. Karen says, at the end of the day, whatever leaves you guys happy, go for it. Just make sure that the kids are a priority. Mia then comes to the pool, hands Wendy a beautiful but small bouquet of flowers that came from Eddie, the kids, and the dog. I wonder if it was so small. Well, did it come from the dog? Because the dog was on the phone. So I'm just going to say Eddie, the kids, and the dog because they're all family. It's like, girl, did I throw shade there? It was a really, really small bouquet, but I'm wondering if it's because they were getting back on the plane and he didn't want her to worry about, excuse me, carrying it or what. I like gestures like that. I think it's beautiful because I'm sure he has something else planned for her when she gets home. Make your person feel like they're important and like they matter and that you're thinking about them. And because he got this delivered to where they're at, it shows that he put forth a little bit of effort. The girls are outside, they're having fun, and music is playing. They try to teach Stacy how to twerk, and based on the way Stacy is moving, she looks like she does not have any rhythm. We see Key on the ground. Mia then turks on her, and Kierna says in confession that she can twerk on me, but I haven't forgotten what she said. Giselle then comes back after less than 24 hours. Jazzy is at the table doing her makeup. I mean, was the mirror in your room not big enough? Was the lighting off? Like, I don't understand why she's at the table doing it, but, I'm not a person that does makeup, so it is what it is. She fills her in on the tea. She says, there are people here who have been basing their businesses on drug dealer money. I was confused because did Mia say that her business was based on drug dealer money? Did they cut it out? Am I missing it here? Because I don't recall her saying that. I recall her saying that she had a drug dealer boyfriend. And let's be clear here. The fact that they keep talking about this when she has a boyfriend that she's actually with who isn't that person is ridiculous to me, number one. Number two, sitting here judging someone for things like that they've done in their past when they haven't even came at you about the things that you had going on is annoying to me, because I feel like there was no point in bringing this up. And there are, judge me if you want to, some good people out there who have a past like that. If I were to go down my past, I'm sure you all would be shocked that I myself dealt with someone who was into dealing. I was young and dumb, but I'm saying, and now he is a great person and he's done well for himself and he left that alone a long time ago and he was able to build a business. Now, whether he did that on that money or not, I don't know. I'm just saying. My point is, people have a past, and to sit here and to keep throwing that in her face for a man that is no longer in her life, for a man that I believe is deceased, it's just like, come on, find something else to talk about. She then talks about Ashley asking about Kieran's scar, saying that she didn't see it. And Giselle's like, what do you mean she doesn't see it? It's right on her forehead. Which further tells me that Ashley was trying to dig. Ashley was trying to play in Kieran's face. And even though it may seem a little dramatic, Kieran had a reason to get upset. Because you know that your friend did this to me and you're playing in my face, asking me where my scar is when everybody around sees the scar but supposedly you. And I have an open court case. So what are you doing here? Ashley then walks in the room. Giselle says, Jazzy told me you asked Kay about her scar. What did she say? Ashley then starts to mock her. She says, don't talk about my scar. In my opinion, Ashley doesn't see the seriousness of the situation. And if Kay were to come out there and pop her, maybe she would get it. I'm not promoting violence. It's just sometimes the things that these people say, it's like, it's clear that you're on television and that's why you're talking out the side of the your neck. Because had we not been on television, had that girl not had a lot to lose, then maybe things would have been handled differently. Because let's be clear, I've seen far worse for far less. All the other ladies enter the room, with the birthday girl being last. Mia pours alcohol from the bottle around the table to some of the ladies' mouths. She starts with Wendy. She then proceeds to put the entire bottle, the top of the bottle, the stem, in her mouth, and then backwashes in it. It was because she hurries up and turns around, but I saw that alcohol go back in that bottle. And she tells the ladies that this is how you keep two men. The ladies say they now understand it. It wasn't really that big of a party trick. I personally was disgusted by the fact that she was backwashing. If I'm honest, because she put the bottle down on the counter, and I'm sure somebody later on probably poured that in their drink. Now they say alcohol kills germs, but with what Mia has going on, I wouldn't want any of that. So all the ladies get into the Sprinter to go on this field trip to the first practice that Mia ever created. They're on their way there, even though she sold it, and nobody there at the practice seems to know her. They talk about TJ and sex on the way there. First, she says that they both decided not to do it, that they both want to wait until marriage. And then she says, you know what? I'm not going to lie. He's a devout Christian and he doesn't want to do it. Giselle is laughing. Stacey says Giselle can keep laughing while she's all alone. Stacey, honey, you're alone too. Everybody, like, if you're not married, if you're not in a relationship, you know, you have moments where you're by yourself too. It's not anything to joke about. The former First Lady, Giselle, wants her to test things out first, to try it out, to see what it feels like. And that situation, the way that Stacey's handling, would be a no for her. Wendy finds it odd that there are people out there who are waiting, and we find out that they're doing nothing of an intimate nature. I just feel like, who cares? I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. I myself have had moments where I haven't done anything for a long time. Does that make me weird or odd? No, that means maybe I'm trying to get my mental right. That means maybe this person doesn't deserve to have me and what comes with me. That means maybe I want to make sure that this isn't just a thing where we're just exploring one another like that and we're not getting to know each other here, which is most important rather than the physical aspect of things. I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. And the fact that they're making this that big of a deal kind of annoys me, because at this point, it's really none of their business, you know? And she's still married, so she shouldn't really be doing anything until she gets out of one situation. She shouldn't be jumping into one thing when she still hasn't worked out the other thing. They arrive at the joint chiropractic place. Mia enters all excitedly saying, "I'm here." And the people at the counter are like, okay, you're here. Are you here to give them business? Or are you just here? Mia says that she sold this business and they're selling the other ones because of Gordon. That, you know, he's unpredictable because of his mental thing. She's going to keep bringing up the fact that because he's bipolar, he's unpredictable. We don't need you to keep telling us that. She says she has 22 other locations that she's also going to be selling to. And she tells us that she's nervous about it. And when she said it, I said, okay, this makes absolutely no sense. If Mia and Gordon had 23, because you said you sold that one and you have 22 more to sell. If they had 23 locations, why are they broke? Why did they downsize? You got 22 locations and you guys are both living in an apartment. Make it make sense. Why not buy a home? Why not provide your kids something that's stable rather than moving from home to apartment, renting this, renting that? If you had 22 locations, you should have enough money to get yourself a decent home and stability for your kids. So something isn't adding up. Mia continues to lie. She's asked when's her busiest time for the business. And she sits there like, it depends on the market. Huh? The ladies are all looking at each other like, why are we here? Did we really just come here to look at this office? Because nobody's getting adjusted. Y'all could have did a virtual call, video tour, looked it up on the internet for all of that. It just makes no sense that they drove there for this. Karen jokes and says, Dr. Wendy, I'm going to take you to a place where we talk all about Mia for her birthday. She did that in confessional. So she's like, y'all ready to go to lunch? And the ladies are like, yeah, because there's no point in them being there. They head to lunch. They get drinks. Ashley points out how she's happy Karen isn't getting alcohol and she's happy for her newfound sobriety. And Ashley, rather than you focusing on everybody else, I'd be happy if you come up with an actual storyline, one that doesn't involve Karen or the others. Giselle says, I heard that some stuff went down. So Key, I just want to check on you. Are you doing okay? I didn't like hearing that you were crying. And she says, yeah, I'm doing fine, Giselle. She then asks Ashley, do you want to apologize? And Ashley's like, I did already. And Karen is like, yeah, she did. But I really felt like it was just the whole situation came because she was kind of like piggybacking off of what Mia had said. And I honestly feel like Mia has some nerve to say anything about anyone else considering her colorful past. I said, okay, Kierna, clock in. But Kierna disappointed me because Kierna, we'll get to it. She didn't say enough to me. Mia says, yeah, I have a colorful past, but it's not in the drug industry. As I said, there's no point in bringing that up. Even if it is true, Kieran is no longer with that man. And Kierna hadn't said anything about her. So why do we keep on talking about this? Kierna doesn't deny that she was with a drug dealer. She says, I never sold drugs. I wish Kierna would just be like, yeah, at one point I dated somebody who was into pharmaceutical sales. Fancy spin on it. He's no longer, well, let me not say fancy spin because I don't want to sit there and act like the two are the same because it's not. Let me not joke about that. What I will say is this. Kierna should have just said, I dated someone who had a past. Yes, I am no longer with him. What's next? What else do you got? Instead, Kierna says, well, at least I'm not selling tail. Out of all things to spray her with, it shouldn't have been that because Mia takes pride in letting us know that she was a stripper. And I'm a little disappointed by that being her comeback because she had so many other things she could have said to the girl. Jazzy lets them know that she's going to be having a party for her man when they get back because the team that wins the Super Bowl always gets to go to the White House. So she's going to throw a celebration and she's going to invite all of the single men. She tells the ladies that. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's cut funny, Jacqueline lets us know that she lost 15 pounds and it makes her feel strong and like don't F with her. Mia's like, she works out and I get lipo. Giselle wants to know if that statement was directed at Karen because it came out of nowhere. And Karen's like, I've been dodging darts this whole entire time. And somebody's like, yeah, you like Wonder Woman and da-da-da-da-da. And Jacqueline's like, there's a lot of cats kissing around here. End scene. Feel like the ladies have been instructed to hash some things out, but they know they can't take it as far as they did in the past because they don't want to end up like Robin or maybe Candace, depending if she left or they were going to let her go, either one, but they don't want to end up like that. So as they're in the Sprinter, we're told by Mia that she told the ladies to make sure that they wear their fiery red for what they have going on later the evening. They are in the house. They're playing games. My notes are all out of order. Sorry, I just realized something. They play F, Marry, Kill. I'm not going over it. Bottom line is Jacqueline at the end talks about her and Mia already effing, so she doesn't need to do that. Giselle points out how Jacqueline is okay with her messing with every other man in the world, but not another woman. So they arrive at the house. We see everybody getting ready. They're calling their people. We see Jazzy talking to Darius, who doesn't have his NFL contract yet. Ashley and Jazzy talk outside. Ashley lets her know that she's been working on her song. She plays for it. It plays it for her. It doesn't really sound like her. Giselle is looking at her like she's crazy because it doesn't it's just not what she thought it was gonna be. Jacqueline comes out the room saying that something smells like puss. Mia says, "Is it me?" And Jacqueline proceeds to bend down and put her face in Mia's poom poom. I am a woman, and I'm telling you now, it does not require all of that to smell yourself. You know whether or not you are fresh. So this is just them doing what they do. They get to dinner. Wendy says that, normally she celebrates with Eddie, and she normally doesn't celebrate in her adult years with other people because, Eddie does it, and she doesn't feel like people would celebrate her. Makes me wonder about her friendships. She says, when I first came to the group, I had just had a baby. Y'all see me through some things in these 5 years. And here I am at 40, and I finally realized I'm enough. I love that she said that. I don't know what it is about 40, but I feel like for me, I have done a little bit of reflecting coming to this space in life. I don't know if it's because over the last 5 years, there have been so many losses. I've lost so many loved ones. I've lost so many pillars in my family and really, really close friends that I just am finding myself looking at life differently. But I can relate to Wendy in the moment where she's talking about how she's just realizing that she is enough. And what a relief that has to be for her if previously she was battling with it. Ashley says Wendy inspires her to be more evolved. Giselle says that she loves where they are now. It was still before, but now it's rich and they're in a much better place. Mia says we had an interesting past. We've had highs and lows. Jazzy says, she admires Wendy and she thinks Wendy is brilliant and creative. She said that I had expectations when I first met the group and you've superseded those expectations. Karen calls her Wonder Woman. Kieran says, I hope that God continues to shine his light on you. I thank you, Wendy, for always being glue in my life. I said, see, this is the type of stuff that I want to see. I want to see where we get a balance of the mess and the good stuff too, because the mess tends to get heavy. So when you see them pouring into each other like this, it is nice. Jacqueline says, when I met you, Wendy, it was rocky. You were looking at me like, be pleased. But now there's warmth there. And it's good because I'm not going anywhere. Whatever, Jacqueline. We then hear Stacy saying, we talked about me a lot. I want to hear about your man, Jazzy. And Jazz is like, Darius is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I plan on marrying him. We've had some bumps. He's a great father to, the boys that were created before me. We started dating and I didn't know at the time and he didn't know at the time, but she was pregnant. And she's talking, and here's the gist. The bottom line is he has a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they've been dating for several years, which means that the babies came while he was with her. When she found out about the situation, she could have left. She didn't. Kierna's like, I've seen this before because I dated someone in the league who had 2 women pregnant at the same time. I'm going to say they're twins. They're not really twins. It's just that he was doing it to 2 people and both of them were pregnant and the babies were born around the same time. She says, I dated someone in the league and I couldn't get past it. Mia wants to know what team he played for because she says the same thing happened to her and she just wants to make sure it's not the same guy. Mia, between Ink and Gordon and whomever else, when did you have time to date yet another person? I can't take Mia in the lies. Kieran is not trying to hear it. Kieran, what? I don't know what I wrote there. Oh, Kierna basically says, like, if you're dealing with a successful man, be prepared that this is what's going to happen. And Giselle's like, men, period. It has nothing to do with success. Either way, they may cheat on you. Giselle says in confessional, like, Jazzy, just say that he was cheating on you. He got 2 kids and you still want to be with him. It's okay. Because that's what it is. We then hear Stacy do a toast to Ashley saying that, you alone, Ashley, have made me feel comfortable about opening up to this group, that, the way that you are handling your life and the way that you are handling your divorce, you're giving me the courage to be a little bit, more open to talk about mine. And I said, okay, but Ashley's not really giving us anything. But if she's, making you feel good, great. They end up leaving. Jacqueline tells them all to take a shower because they've been dirty all week. Wendy walks in the house drinking from the bottle. I think maybe after the cameras went down, there was, some more drinking, because I don't understand how after 6 hours, it's the next morning and Wendy is at the table looking disheveled in a hot mess. Wendy tells us that our head is pounding and Stacy is just talking and talking and talking. And she's like, I just wish Stacy would leave me alone. Mia tells Jacqueline, that no one wants to be the other girl. And Mia's like, well, I got a house out of being the other girl. Okay, Mia, well, where's the house? Because you're always talking about all these things you get, but yet you don't have any of that. Karen says that even though Mia sucks as a hostess, overall this trip allowed me to think about something other than my court case. They leave, they all head home. That's the end of it. If there was something discussed that you want to talk about it and I didn't mention it, feel free to put it down below. Please like the video as it helps me get in the algorithm. What did y'all think about this episode overall? Let me know down below. Until next time.